Jurassic Park Operation Genesis tasks you with creating your very own dinosaur theme park, which can be difficult when the attractions keep eating the guests. Do you think she'll leave a bad review? The goal? Build the greatest theme park in the world by way of getting awarded 5 stars. Now, how do you get stars? Basically, just keep turning a profit. The game's pretty easy, and there's a reason for that I want to get into later, but the bottom line is it's a ton of fun to play. It's a big cult classic, and my proof is the still active community of modders and posters still talking about the game even 20 years later. The game starts with selecting your island. It's procedurally generated and randomized, but you can tweak the features like overall size, trees, mountains, and rivers, which, unlike Morrowind, this game has. I start by plopping down a park entrance. And what's a Jurassic Park without some friggin' dinosaurs? Herbivores are cheap and easy, so I'll plop down a small, light security enclosure for them, a cute little river for my lizard boys, or are they birds? Do they have feathers? And some trees. Speaking of, my first are coming out.
We are pleased to announce the debut of our newest attraction, Parasaurolophus. Please enjoy the playful antics of this gentle herbivore.
Oh my gosh, look at this little guy, so cute. Shame they'll only live for 6 months. All dinos start with a specific lifespan. As you research more about the dinos, that lifespan will increase. I'll get into that soon, but real quick, I want to talk about the Xbox version and graphics. Now, this is an older game, but despite that, it looks great. The Xbox version looked better, but even the dinos here don't have any hard edges or look noticeably low poly. There's also some great details, like the ripples in the water, the trees that sway in the wind. It's just a really pleasant looking game that makes watching the dinosaurs a real treat. Now the people, not so much, but that's okay. The dinosaurs are split between carnivores and herbivores. Now, most herbivores can live together in the same enclosure and be okay, as can some carnivores, but you gotta be careful and just experiment and see what works. Also, doing this can be beneficial because they'll socialize and be more enjoyable to watch for your visitors. It also saves a lot of money. Rather than building an enclosure for a single type of dinosaur, you can just build one enclosure and throw in multiple types. And because this is Jurassic Park and not Jurassic World, you got the classic 90s dinos. No Indominus Rex or any of that nonsense. There's 25 in total, ranging from small herbivores and carnivores to large herbivores and carnivores. You got Triceratops, these little chicken guys, and of course, the T-Rex.
A new 5-star attraction has arrived in Jurassic Park. Tyrannosaurus, the most feared predator of the Cretaceous era, is now hunting for your entertainment. For those visitors who like their excitement with a dash of danger, this is one attraction that will really grab you.
Unfortunately, there's no flying or water dinos. So how do you get dinosaurs? Well, you breed them, but to breed them, you need to research their genomes. Now, to research their genomes, you need fossils. To get fossils, you need to send your fossil hunting teams to dig sites, but you need money to hire fossil hunting teams. Do you see where I'm going with this? The game does a great job of one thing leading to another, so once you solve one problem, it creates a domino effect that's really satisfying. Technically, you only need 50% of a genome researched to make a dino, but the higher the genome research percentage, the longer their lifespan will be. The first time you successfully breed a new dino, you'll also get this really nice announcement, which makes the park feel more lively and is just a great touch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very proud to announce the arrival of our latest attraction, Velociraptor.
I never got tired of these. Your dinos will also need adequate space, food, and water in their enclosures. Now, you can use feeders that auto-dispense food, but you also need to make sure that there's enough water for them to drink from, and enough space and trees for them too. This is actually my favorite part of the game, designing living areas that mimic a wild environment. Honestly, I could go on forever about the presentation. This game is such a joy to just mess about in. It's like a warm blanket or a toy box maybe. So if you're looking for a comfort food game, here you go. Once you build an enclosure, you can build viewing platforms for visitors to, Well, view the dinosaurs from. You can also set the prices for these and select from one of 4 names. These names are important because you need to appeal to the 4 different types of guests. You have thrill seekers and fun lovers, which both are kind of self-explanatory, and then you also got dino nerds, which these guys will get annoyed if they see dinosaurs from different time periods living together. Also, if they see feeders in your park or just any general infrastructure. And the 4th are mainstream, which are people who are just happy to be here. That'd be me. I mean, if you're seeing dinosaurs, can you really complain that the trees aren't correct? I'd kick you out of my park for that kind of behavior. There's also tall viewing platforms, hot air balloons, safari cars, and underground viewing domes. Now, these all have different pros and cons, so it's good to experiment and change things up and see what works for you. You can set the prices for all of these, and each one will give different qualities of view based on their placement. So for example, if one overlooks the carnivores, you gotta give it a thrilling name to reflect that. On paper, the dinos can get stressed and lash out, but realistically, this will never happen to you. Things that cause stress are often other hostile dinosaurs in the same enclosure, thunderstorms, which is cute, it's like a dog being scared of thunder, and illness. For illness, what'll actually happen if a dino gets sick is you'll either cure them if you have the illness researched, or they'll die. That's about it. For researching, you have a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I don't know why you need to research umbrellas, but it is what it is. It gives you something to strive for, I guess. You can also research the various illnesses like Bumblefoot, but if your dinosaur gets sick, they'll behave basically the same way regardless of the illness, which feels a little cheap. Related to that, you can also research your hatcheries to provide a vaccine before the dino even comes out. What this does is it removes the illness mechanic from the game completely. It wasn't much to begin with, I suppose, but it feels weird to just research something and then it is just gone. It feels half-baked, and that's actually because it is. Or, more accurate to say, this game has a ton of cut content. Well, some of it was cut, and some was just originally planned but never actually worked on. A good example of this you can see in the early trailers for the games. These featured a lot of, features that never made it into the full release. You can see hotels, diagonal fences for enclosures, a dinosaur petting zoo, difficulty sliders, restaurants, baby dinos, flying and swimming dinos too. As depressing as that is, I think what's here is more than enough. A run-through will take you about 5 to 7 hours if you really rush and speed through the game to get those 5 stars. But you actually can't see every dinosaur in just one playthrough. That's because you're limited to 3 dig sites, and every dig site has limited dinosaur fossils you can dig up. So you can never get every dino, meaning you'll need to play multiple games in order to see them all. Or, of course, you can use mods or cheats. Because like I said, this is also part toy box. There's also so many fun experiments and configurations to mess around with. One of my favorite things to do is reverse the enclosure system. So instead of enclosing the dinosaurs, I enclose the visitors. I do this by making a small island and then populate it with random dinos running wild. It's not optimized for money for my park, but it is a ton of fun. You got the dinosaurs interacting with each other in really interesting ways. Sometimes they'll run away, sometimes they'll compete for territory, sometimes they'll socialize and play with one another, and sometimes they'll eat each other. Giving the game even more longevity is all the cheats. There's a bunch. You can spawn in tornadoes, give yourself unlimited cash, make all the dinos go on a rampage, or my favorite, give myself unlimited cash, spawn as many T-Rexes as I can, and remove all the enclosure fencing. Thanks for watching.